All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this month's episode of Community Talk. We will have some segments today and some amazing community updates. But before we get started with those, I would like to give the mic to Mickey from Node to talk about some open positions.
Hey, yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'll try to keep this short and sweet, and let me attempt to share my screen. Sorry, one sec. All right. Can you see this page?
It's loading for me, but it might be my internet. Anybody else?
Uh-oh.
Still loading for me.
Hmm.
It's loaded for
There
me
we have
now. Yeah,
Okay.
we can see it.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, well, for those of you who might not know me, I'm Mickey. I work at Node. I am our senior engineering manager of our engineering operations and technical support teams. So I do manage our tech supporters, who many of you guys probably know them or have worked with them or seen them in Discord. And I wanted to come here today and talk to you guys about how you could pursue a technical support engineering role at Node if that's something of interest to you. And yeah, so I'll just jump in here. I put together this little Notion doc just to kind of guide the conversation. But if anyone has questions, feel free to ask me at the end. I'll just go through a couple things here. So again, yeah, our technical supporters provide support for our ecosystem. They live in Discord. They respond to questions, not just from subgraph developers, but all of the different personas in the ecosystem. And they play a really critical role in ensuring our users have the best support experience of their lives and their issues are resolved as quickly as possible. And so we're always looking for people who are super passionate about the graph and are ready to solve these kind of complex technical problems that crop up for our users. We're also on a mission to become a recognized standard for what decentralized world-class support should look like. That in an ideal world, other Web3 protocols will just copy what we're doing because we'll have, resolved all of the pain points in providing decentralized support and build out an amazing model for doing that. So if that sounds super exciting to you and you want to join us on this journey, I put together some guidelines for how you could prepare to step into a technical support engineering role at Node. So there are kind of 5 different areas here. I'll figure out a way to share this document with you guys so you can review it later. But basically, you want to start by learning the true basics of the protocol. So really understanding how the graph protocol operates is really crucial for being a tech support engineer. You'll want to start by familiarizing yourself with the different concepts of the protocol, like understanding the incentive mechanisms, the different ecosystem roles, like an indexer, a subgraph developer, a delegator, curator, what our supported networks are, and who the different core developers are, and what are the products that they each own. As advocates, you guys probably already have an advantage here and probably already know that, but that's kind of the first stepping stone on your path to becoming a tech support engineer. This next step is building out your soft skills. So as tech support engineers, you work all day with people, often frustrated people who are having issues. And so making sure you have really good problem solving skills and can demonstrate examples of when you've solved complex problems, that's really great. We also need folks who have excellent communication skills. You will be talking to a ton of different stakeholders, from highly technical subgraph developers to, non-technical delegators. And so being able to explain complex ideas or concepts in simple terms or adapting your communication style for those different personas is a really important part of the role. We also look for people who are highly organized and can stay on top of support requests coming in through different platforms. We actually don't just provide support in Discord, but we also have several hundred Telegram chats and Slack channels. And so we really like candidates who are super organized and can stay on top of that. And then we also look for folks who exhibit extreme ownership. So, thinking like a task isn't in your job description, that doesn't really cut it for the tech support engineering role. Rather, we do work super cooperatively and collaboratively with each other. And, we want tech support engineers who are super eager to take on responsibility for resolving customer issues and finding the right person to help resolve those, and not, waiting or assuming that someone else will take it on. And lastly, in the soft skills area, we want folks who can express their shared values that we share as well. So being able to express why key Web3 values like decentralization and censorship resistance are important to you on a personal level is a big part of the role as well. And then we can launch into some technical skills. So at a high level, candidates who apply for the role should already be skilled as subgraph developers themselves. You should have, at least intermediate level knowledge and skills in TypeScript, GraphQL, and Solidity. Familiarity with Rust is always, it's desirable since GraphNode is written in Rust entirely, but that's definitely not a requirement for the role. But at a high level, you should be able to develop a subgraph and walk us through your work in the interview process for the role. And then I did list out some ways you can kind of get started. If you don't have subgraph development experience, you can start by building out boilerplate subgraphs. So basically, build your first few subgraphs by following along with the quick start guide. You can use the boilerplate code to start familiarizing yourself with the subgraphs, kind of subgraph development basics. And once you have that down, then you can start building more advanced subgraphs. So after you've developed a few basic ones, then you can start playing around and implementing more advanced capabilities. So you could write manifold subgraphs with these features like file data sources, proxy contracts, event logs to, get prices. You could store those prices in aggregation entities, like, for example, daily volume. Couple extra bonus points there. But yeah, those are kind of the more advanced subgraph features you could start playing around with. So if you happen to already have the skill level described above, you can apply for one of our open roles. We do have an open tech support engineer role based in North or South America. So if you fit the bill, feel free to go ahead and apply. But beyond that, I do have an open door policy. So if you ever want to talk about job opportunities or career growth or just general mentorship, you are always very welcome to schedule a one-on-one with me. So I did include a link for my Calendly. I'll figure out again how to share this with you guys, but I just wanted to give a super fast overview of kind of what it takes to become a tech support engineer, at least at EduNode, and make sure that you guys were aware the role exists and had some understanding on how to pursue that type of position. And if anyone has
Nice.
any
Thank you so
questions,
much.
yeah, feel free to drop any questions in the chat or shout out. Thanks.
Yeah, I think I had a question. I see that somebody else in the chat also had it. Is there a link to this Notion page? Because we would like to see this preparation and use the links. I think that would be very nice.
Yes, let me figure out how to make it shareable, and then I'll drop it either here in the call, or could I send it to you directly and have you share it with advocates?
Yeah, yeah, that would be great. We will post it in the link or the YouTube channel and on the forum, so you can share it later on. Great.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for joining, Mickey.
Thank you.
All right. So before we get into the first segment, which will be about the advocate contributions, I would like to share a few community updates with you guys. And the first one will be shared by Lorena.
Thank you. Also, okay, well, I would like to talk about what are we already done in Latin America last Q1. We already have two different events, Ethereum Argentina and February, and it's Samba in March. So with Chainlink and Arbitrum, we work together to try to onboard more people and we are working very hard with a workshop to get more developers onboarding to Web3. So in fact, we are working very hard with Chain and Arbitrum, not only in Latin America, but now in Asia, and we are working on having an event in Europe. So this kind of um, alliance help us to get more technical people in Web3. It Samba take place last month in Brazil, in Rio. We have more than 400 developers, new developers and developers from Web2. So it was the first time that we training an Arbitrum, we organized a side event with workshops. So it was very, very interesting. In addition of that, I would like to comment that yesterday, one of the advocates, Arturo Castañón, make a presentation, a workshop for Mu. Mu is a project that is developed in different cities of the world. Now is they organize an online hackathon and go working for 5 weeks. So yesterday we have the opportunity to present the graph there. So interesting. We have many advocates very, very focused on get more people involved. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Lorena. And we are going to hear way more from Lorena a little bit later on. But for now, I would like to start with some of the community updates. And from last month, the Graph Foundation, as you noted, toured in Asia, visiting Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Dubai. Pinex, along with some of the Graph advocates, hosted a campus event on the Szechuan University, which was really cool. And if you are in Dubai for Token 2049, you can join the Graph Builders Brunch hosted by Monad XYZ and the Graph Foundation. And you can come to meet each member from the community, network with builders, and enjoy a tasty brunch. So that's going to be, I believe, next week. But we will post the link in the description here and in the chat. So if you guys are around, you can join them. We also had new episodes from the GRTIQ podcast. We had episode 161 with Kirsten, who is the co founder of Talent Layer, an innovative open protocol and developer toolkit. So check that one out. We had 162 with Red, who is a protocol research analyst at Missouri, who did talk about his journey into Web3 and how he gets started in the industry. And we have two actually more. We had 163 with Zubin, who is a senior software engineer and developer relation engineer at Chainlink Labs. And we had 164 with Ariel, who is the vice president of engineering at Edge Node. So we will post all the links here in the chat room, and you guys can check out the GRTIQ podcast. All right. So up next, we had a little bit of an issue today with the hosting of this call because a lot of our speakers are currently, or the speakers that we had for today are currently in Dubai, and it's a little bit of a pandemonium there. There is a lot of flooding and a lot of storms, so unfortunately they cannot join, which means that we kind of last minute scheduled a cool advocate contributions report or an advocate contribution spotlight, which we usually do about a few contributions, but now we have way more contributions. And what's really cool is I already mentioned this in the advocates channel chat that we're going to talk about a lot of advocates that are here today. So I thought that was really cool. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to let some of the Graph Advocate DAO members talk about the contributions, and I will fill in whenever. Could you guys tell me if you guys can see my screen?
Yes, I can see it.
Nice, cool. So in this presentation, I will let some of the Advocate DAO members talk about the role that they were responsible for the past couple of months, and I was also involved in many of the reviews and many of the contributions, so I can also talk about some of them. And we're going to start with the text translator role. Give me 1 second. Here we go, and it should have switched for everyone now. So, unfortunately, the person that led the text translator team could not join today, but I will take over for a little bit. So, the text translators in the Graph Advocates program were busy translating all of the official documentation. So, that is both the website and the docs pages from English to their respective languages or to their native languages. And they got very far. So they finished all of these languages on the left side. So Chinese simplified, Czech, French, Hindi, Italian, Japanese, Marathi, Portuguese, and Turkish were all finished. And that means that most of these languages can now be viewed on the website in these languages, which was all done by the Graph Advocates. And they're still working on Arabic, Dutch, German, Vietnamese, Russian, and Ukrainian. So they already went very far. And I know a lot of the people here today did a very good job at translating and proofreading. And Juliana is also here today, so she was leading this. So I want to thank Juliana as well for all of the hours that she worked on this. Up next, we're going to do the community care role. And I wonder if Paul is here. I don't think he is right now. Okay, so I will do this one as well. So in the community care role, the Graph Advocates engaged in chat rooms that they felt comfortable in. So that meant that either if they were non-technical, they would be in non-technical rooms. If they were technical, they would help out with more technical rooms. If they were software developers, they could help out with the technical support. And I want to highlight a few contributions here. So we had Atros, who has been a very good help in the Graph Advocates program. He has been around for quite some time, but in the community care role, he's one of the most active advocates, mostly helping out new advocates and community members with beginner questions about the Graph and the Graph Advocates program. In his job in real life, he is a teacher, he is an educator, and you can really see that in the way that he handles questions and in the way that he answers questions from beginners who might feel a little bit awkward or might feel a little bit rough asking questions as they are new. But Atra is really helping them out with those questions for a total of 336 total answers to the question. So that's a lot. Then we had Siddhant. Siddhant was doing both technical and I would say beginner questions, but mostly technical questions in regards to subgraph development, helping out connecting users with testnet faucets, and helping out with solving problems with wallets. Mostly active in the Graph Discord and the Graph Reddit, but also in the Graph Advocates DAO Discord forum and in the Graph India WhatsApp. So Siddhant, we want to thank you for all those contributions. And then we have Yash here. Yash was supposed to have a segment here today, but unfortunately, because of the weather in Dubai, he couldn't make it. So I would have loved to tell him this with him in the call, but unfortunately, he could not join. Yash has been helping out for a very long time with subgraph development questions as a graph advocate, and eventually he joined Agent Notes. So that was a very cool transition to see from starting as an advocate, doing events, doing technical teaching, doing community care, and then eventually landing a job at Agent Note. So I think this is one of the cool success stories. And I've met Yash in real life, and I like him a lot. He's one of my best friends, or not best friends, but good friends in the ecosystem. So I wish he was here to tell him. Yeah, and then we had a few more. These were a little bit smaller contributions, but I still want to give them a shout out. We had Kuram, Metabob, and Schlock. Kuram and Metabob have been helping out a lot with the grant proposals on the Graph Advocates DAO forum and been helping out with a lot of the grant proposals in Q1 2024. Metabob has also been helping out advocates a lot in the Advocates DAO Discord and in his Graph Pakistan community. Schlock has been helping out the community members in the Graph Advocate or the Graph Discord and the Graph Advocates DAO Discord with a lot of the questions. Then I would like to give a shout out to Paul and Crypto Rocky, and also I am in here because somebody else made this presentation, but I'm not going to give a shout out to myself. Probably everybody here knows Paul. We have seen him around in the Graph Discord, the Graph Telegram, the Graphronauts Telegram. He's been active in a lot of them, helping out mostly new people in the ecosystem, but also people that had questions about delegating and about transitioning for the delegation from through to Arbitrum. Sorry, he's been effectively directing people and giving them resources, redirecting people to all over the place, and helping people out with the delegation process. So I want to give a shout out to Paul. Almost 1,700 messages, which is a lot. So yeah, shout out to Paul. I don't know if he's here. I don't think so, but hopefully he will see this after the fact. All right. I have a few more slides here, and I was wondering if any of the Advocate Style members want to fill in for me and maybe give some shout outs to people in the text translator role or in the community care role that I've missed. Did I miss anyone? All right, I don't think so then. So then I will continue. The content creator role, I think, besides the text translator role, is the role that had the most contributions in this first quarter of the year. And there are two or three people that I would really like to give a shout out. I'm not sure if they're here today. Let me see. I don't think so. So the first one is Larik. Larik has been a powerhouse on Twitter, and I'm not sure if you are following, but Lark has made over 20 really high quality infographics, usually reaching about 50 to 1,000 impressions. And every time there's a big post, a big blog, or a big announcement by the Graph Foundation or by Node, Lark will create a very nice looking, easy to read infographic that showcases that material. So one of them on the left side was about the Graph Crunch and Learn in London, kind of an invite to join the Graph Crunch and Learn, and the other one was an update about the core dev teams. So this was a really cool one, and as I said, 20 only in this year. There's a lot more. I think later on we can share this link as well at the presentation so you guys can see. But these are all links to infographics that Larek has made, so it's a lot, and they're all as high quality as these ones. So really, really cool. Then I would like to give a shout out to Zuni, who is one of the OG moderators on Telegram. In addition to her work as a community moderator, Zuni has been creating the Graph Spanish magazine, which is updating the Spanish speaking and Graph community about the news in the ecosystem. And Zuni has produced one weekly edition since the start of the year, totaling to 18 editions. In addition to the updates that she has been doing, she has also been doing interviews with cool people in the Graph ecosystem in Spanish. Yeah, I have a screenshot here with Tagan. If you speak Spanish, then this is really cool. If not, you can use Google Translate, but it's most cool if you speak Spanish. I believe the link is the Graph Spanish magazine, and you will find it if you search for that. We can also share a link with you after the fact. So the last person I would like to highlight is actually a couple more, and these people had a lot of cool contributions, but not as many this year yet. So I combined them in in the slides here. So the first two are Emmy and Simon. They have both been making social posts, and Simon has been making blog posts about the graph and about the graph ecosystem. And then we also had Hardeborla and Olakoji, and I think they were here today. I saw them earlier at least. Olakoji is here, I see. Maybe harder brought left already. So these guys are really cool. They are making a lot of social posts, infographics, blog posts, everything that you can do as a content creator. They are doing it, and they're always very high quality posts. So I would also like to give you a shout out here. So thank you so much. And then again, we have Schlock here, and we had again Atruas. Schlock has been making a very cool series on YouTube, the Graph Protocol Weekly Highlights, where he takes all of the weekly highlights from the Graph ecosystem, puts them into one video, and kind of does a weekly news video on the Graph ecosystem. So that's really nice. And Atruas has been writing very high quality blog posts and also did some art today. And I think Hardeborla just rejoined again. So Hardeborla, I gave you a shout out for all of your blog posts because I think they're really cool, and I would like to thank you for your contribution. Then up next, we will have the event evangelist, and I would like to pass the mic back to Lorena to ask her maybe what are the event evangelists doing, and what has surprised you in the last couple of months.
Thank you, Colson. Well, you are sharing the screen, so you can continue sharing the screen so we can talk about what are the advocates doing during this year. In fact, since we start with the DAO, we see that many advocates are very, very active in event evangelist. Event evangelist is a role that allows people that contribute in different way. Contribution, the advocate could make presentation or host or participate in different events online or in person. So we have different advocates in different regions that are working very hard to increase the community. Colson, could you share the next slide, please?
Yep, I think yeah, it should work now.
Yes, Czeslaw, it's an advocate that is working on developing the community in Belarus, the graph community in Belarus. He is working with universities and college to teach people and try to onboard into the graph and in Web3. Okay, not only the graph but Web3. We select different people from different regions. Next, please.
Yeah, maybe I would like to add here that
Mm.
he's doing this in his local language. So, and
Yes.
when he showcased this to us, of course, for us, it was a little bit rough to review it at the start. But then he started doing subtitles on the videos, and he uploaded it to YouTube in kind of a vlog style. So it's very cool. It's a vlog about his experience and about his evangelist work in Belarusian, subtitled in English on YouTube. So yeah, I think it's really cool, and we can share these links with you all later on. I just want to mention that Yaroslav made some videos in English. English is not his first language, so sometimes it was a bit of a rough. So it was really cool to see that he started engaging in his local language, and it went really well. So we are hoping that we can continue this one. I will go on to the next one now, and I think Chidubem is here, so maybe he can shine a light on this.
Yes, Chiduan, would you like to talk about your work and with the work with Avena? Avena?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Yes. So this was, I think, sometime and towards the end of January or so. It was a Zero to Zap workshop. So basically, we had like student developers. Simone hosted an initial workshop on using Build Guilds and Scaffold ETH to, deploy your own DApp, and then the following day I did host a workshop on, a technical workshop on subgraph development, and ensure that everyone actually did build a subgraph, from the big, from scratch to the end, and deploy it and query to see that it works to show actual use case. So I would say it was an overall success. We had about 30 students in attendance, but everyone was, what I say, everyone actually understood, and everyone was able to build and deploy their own subgraph at the end of the day.
Great, thank you so much. And do you have any more of these plans for now? I know that later in the year, I believe there will be a Eat Accra again.
Uh, yeah, there are several other events that we have plans for. There are actually several that have happened this year, about three of them so far. This weekend, we have another workshop with Web3 Bridge, where two of our advocates would actually be leading the technical workshops, and then I would be alongside them, and an additional advocate to provide technical support as well. And then in the upper week, I'm still in talks with Abena, but we're likely going to host like a similar Zero to Dap workshop in Lagos here. And then in May, there's this hackathon and conference that's we're working on. So we'll be there. I think there will be between 150 to 200 hackers present, and at the conference, about 1,500 to 2,500 people in attendance. We have a booth there, about four chairs. So, and then we have about two, three. Okay, well, one person from ENN, and then myself will be present on there for all the about 7 days. Just to be present, present a workshop on before the hackathon begins, and provide technical support while they are hacking and building their dApps. So they're actually using the graph to build their dApps, and then award bounties to the different winners based on the categories that we have for bounties. And then that it will be followed up with the conference, which is where I would also be hosting a session. I'll also be speaking at the conference, and I'll just later on go back to join Jerry at the booth, and we'll try to onboard a lot more members in the African region and hopefully kickstart a community in that region as well. So there's several other events that we're looking at, but they're still under wraps. I would want to review them now because I'm still unsure. So, but we have a lot packed for this region this year.
Nice. That sounds really fun. I wish you the best of luck with that, and hopefully we can invite you on this community talk sometime later to talk about those events.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you. It's an honor.
No worries. All right, and the next one, maybe treat him. I'm not sure if I'm bothering you with this, but the next one is about the technical teachers, and the only one I've written down here is Kevin Jones. But maybe you can tell us a little bit more about the other contributions that you've reviewed in this role this year.
I would say we've reviewed roughly the. Well, I would say we reviewed under 50, largely because I would say sometimes the roles are overlapping. Some technical contributions would be looked at event evangelist submissions, and so many of the times they overlap. So most of the times, sometimes the technical content would also go to the content creators team as well. So I wouldn't exactly say we've had like a ton of submissions because of these overlaps. So I'm hoping that moving forward, we'll be able to get more clarity as regards how to address it.
Yeah, I would agree. I think all of the Kevin's submissions were in the event evangelist role anyway, but I thought they would fit in this role as well. So I shared them here. And I can tell a little bit about these. So Kevin went back. So last year, Kevin was at Eat Rome with a lot of the other graph people, and we got pretty close to the Urbe Eat group, which is a group of developers and friends in Italy that do a lot of events there. So that was really cool. And they invited Kevin to come to a kind of a bootcamp workshops collective powered by Arbitrum, and then also a little bit about the graph. And Urbe was there, and a lot of people worked together on it. So he did a lot of workshops there and helped people out with technical questions. Then we hosted a brunch in London around the Eat London time this year, a little bit earlier this year. Kevin and Simon did a pretty a couple of hours of very in-depth workshop with a very small like classroom vibe. So there were only about 30 to 40 people there, and that meant that it was very personal, and they could help out a lot personally. So that was really cool. Yeah, that was earlier this year. And then at Eat Bucharest, Kevin did a presentation about the graph and about Build Guild, and also helped out with people with subgraph development. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, we hope to see Kevin do more stuff. But I know that he will. He's a very busy guy. Um, yeah, I think that's it for me now. Do we have any other contribution that we want to highlight for the Graph Advocates DAO members or the Graph Advocates?
We have many advocates that are very active. As you mentioned, for example, Emilia Aguilar. She is working very hard for Gastronaut, and Arturo Castañón. He is doing a very good work in all Latin America with workshops. He's a developer and he is part of Rolamate. He won twice or three times voted for the graph for in hackathons. So this kind of advocate, very technical advocate, uh, it's a good have this kind of advocates a good opportunity to the graph to be more in contact and with more technical people. That is interesting. No, of course, all the advocates are important, but some technical profile could help the graph to be closer to the developers.
Great, thank you. I would like to do one last shout out before we go on to Marcus. I see that he's here. Maybe we could do a quick mic check on Marcus.
Check, check. 1, 2.
Nice. Okay. I will quickly finish up this one and then on to you, Marcus. So we would like we were supposed to have one of the members here of the Graph ecosystem that went to Eat Mumbai and to a side event called Other Night, but unfortunately, due to the weather in Dubai, that was not possible for him to join. Other Night was a side event together with Chainlink and Arbitrum, where we did some workshops and we did some presentations, and all of the people that were going to hack at Eat Mumbai kind of had like a one-day event before Eat Mumbai to get to know all of our protocols and all of our projects and be prepared for that hackathon. Then at Eat Mumbai, we had a lot of people that were helping out the hackers, and the event space was pretty cool. Instead of the usual big booths that we see at a bunch of the other or a lot of the other events, there was just one big room with small like discussion tables. So all of the teams were together in one big room, and they were all helping each other out. And of course, the people that were representing the graph are also helping out. We had a lot of submissions there. There was a very high percentage of people that used the graph at the event, and one of the project submissions that we got was sort of like a Web3 form of Pokemon Go, where you could get NFTs based on your geolocation, and it was using the graph in the backend. So the person that we're supposed to be on could explain it in much more detail, but that's the way I understood it, and I thought that was a very cool idea. At least in my country, the Pokemon Go rage was really big, so hearing that was pretty cool. Okay, on to the next segment, the last one for today. We are inviting Marcus Rein from Edge Node to talk about the Sunray and the sunrise, I hope.
Hello, hello, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Colson. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. What about you?
I'm doing great, doing great. So I'm here to share about the new updates to kind of really the graph ecosystem. Really, Sunrise is on its way. We have just completed Sunray, and Sunray is the first phase of Sunrise. And I'll actually share the announcement in chat right here. Feel free to read through this if you haven't already. But essentially, there's 3 new enhancements for developers that are of interest, and then also just 4 actually key enhancements, as this blog says, but really 3 for the builders. I'm a builder, I'm a developer, so I kind of focus on those. But essentially, what we have is 2 plans now that are available for developers in the Graph network. 100,000 queries per month are part of the free plan. We can actually query the Graph network with 100,000 queries every 30 days for free, which is called the free plan. That's a big deal. And then after 100,000 queries per month, there's what's called the growth plan, where right now it's, and we're sticking to this. I just got the word that this is going to be the amount. It's going to be $40 per million queries, which means just $4 per 100,000 queries. So very affordable to send queries on the Graph network and highly competitive in the entire Web3 ecosystem. So that's quite exciting. Another update is that builders, developers can pay for these queries with GRT, of course, if they'd like, or credit card payments. And that is really seamless. It's really quite well integrated within the entire protocol. And that's very nice. And a big part of this entire upgrade process, between the ability to have these 100,000 queries and then also have a growth plan and then also being able to use credit card, is upgrading from the hosted service to the Graph network. So there's a actual process to upgrade a subgraph from the hosted service to the Graph network. And that's a really big deal, because the hosted service eventually, as we all know, is going to be sunsetting over time. And that means we need to have a sunrise to upgrade our subgraphs from the hosted service to the Graph network. So if any builders out there have a subgraph on the hosted service, they need to upgrade their subgraph to the Graph network, and they can follow this cookbook right here that I put in the chat. that would simply take a hosted service subgraph and bring it to the graph network with literally just a few clicks. There's also a video in there. Let me just actually drop the video into chat too. But yeah, we're doing our very best to get the word out there about upgrading to the graph network and the advantages of the graph network. And that's a huge, huge, huge part of this first phase of Sunrise. If there's any questions about this, if there's any concerns, this would be the time to ask. I'm more than happy to answer any questions about that. And then also feel free to ping me either in Discord or on Twitter. I'm more than happy to answer questions about this, what this means for the protocol, what this means for the builders out there. It's really quite exciting news.
Great. Thank you so much, Marcus. I'm wondering if there will be any questions in the chat right now. So let's wait a couple seconds.
Yeah, you bet. And to stay in the loop in this, I mean, Colson, I'm happy to come here regularly and just give updates for the community chat. Also, I will be putting updates with the Graph Builders newsletter every single month. So I'll be really just sending out announcements about that. And here's a link to the Graph Builders newsletter. Basically, if there is news about any new features, it will be in this newsletter every single month. And I'm just trying to stay on top of communicating these updates as effectively as I can. So, yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Marcus. And yeah, if you have anything that you would like to mention on the community talk, just give us a ping and we can schedule it. For now, I would like to thank you, and I would like to thank all of the Graph advocates that joined here today, and all of the Advocates DAO members that helped out with our little segment there. Before we leave, I would like to inform everybody that there will be an indexer office hours today in about 70 minutes from now, and a big part of today's IOH will be about the delegator experience. So if you would like to join that and share your delegation experience with the indexers and get to know them a little bit better, I definitely invite you for the indexer office hours today. So I hope to see you all there. And if not, feel free to join us again next month. And if you have any cool subjects or any cool segments, let us know so we can host them in the next edition. So thanks, everyone. And I hope to see you again next month. Bye bye.